All right, everybody. I don't know what's going on technology-wise, but my cell phone is not letting me record videos longer than 16 minutes. So something with the memory, I'll work it out. So let's try and get through this. I'm not going to rush. If I have to make a second video to follow up with this video, that's what I'll do. All right. So what we're doing now is changing fractions to percents. And this is going to be on page 104, rows 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to work through all of these with you all. The method I'm going to use is method 2. Method 2 is your best option. Method 2 is always going to work 100% of the time. So there isn't going to be any guesswork as to what do you do with the problem? Will the problem go into 100% evenly? None of that. Method 2 is always going to work every single time. Method 2 has 2 steps. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal, and we do that by dividing. Step 2, turn the decimal into a percent, and we do that by moving the decimal 2 spaces to the right. Okay? So let's get started here. We'll start on row 3. And again, this is page 104. And we'll start here in row 3 with 9/10. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. So 9 divided by 10. Now I gave a little extra line there because, as we know, we're going to be making decimals, right? So 10 can't go into 9 evenly. So to add zeros, we need to put a decimal here, don't we? And now we can start adding zeros. But first, let's move our first decimal where it belongs so we know what we're supposed to be doing, right? Okay, now I can add some zeros. Okay. 10 goes into 90 9 times. Let's do our multiplication. 10 times 9 is 90. Do our subtraction, just to make sure we have everything correct. The answer for the decimal part is 9/10. That's step 1. Step 1 is done. Right? Turn the fraction into a decimal. Now, from there, we need to do step 2. In order to do that, we're going to take our decimal and move it 2 spaces to the right. There's a hole here, so I'm going to put a 0 there. And my new answer is going to be 90%. Okay, and that's step 2. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. Step 2 is when we turn that decimal into a percent. Let's try the next one, 7/8. Now 7/8 is going to present us with an issue because when you do your dividing, you're going to be moving further than just 2 spaces. I'll show you what I mean. You know how here we added the decimal and we could add a 0, add a 0, add a 0? Generally, when you're turning a fraction into a percentage, you only want to go 2. So you would only want to add 2 zeros. I'll show you what I mean. 7/8. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. So 7 divided by 8. Okay, 8 can't go into 7, so now I'm going to add my decimal here so I can put some zeros in. And don't forget to move your decimal up. Okay. 8 goes into 70 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. Do my subtraction. 70 minus 64 is 6. And now I can add another 0. Bring the 0 down. 8 goes into 60 7 times. And 8 times 7 is 56. Do my subtraction. 50 minus 56 is 4. Now, we are 2 spaces over, aren't we? We stop here at the hundredths place. We're not going to go any further with our division. What we're going to do is say that 87 hundredths is going to be it's our decimal, okay? And then, like we do when we create mixed numbers, it's going to be 87 hundredths and 4 over 8. So 0.87 and then 4 over 8 is going to be our percent. Here's the problem. We need to reduce this 4/8. 4/8 can be reduced to 1/2 because 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 8 two times. So our real answer is this. .87.5 is our real answer. All right. Let's take a look at the next one here. 11 over 20. Again, step 1, turn the fraction to a decimal. Okay. 11 divided by 20. 20 can't go into 11, so I'm going to use a decimal so I can add a 0. I'm going to make sure I move that decimal up to the right spot. Okay. 20 can go into 110 5 times. 20 times 5 is 100. Do my subtraction. And that leaves me with 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. And 1 minus 0, okay? 20 can't go into 10, so I can add one more 0. And bring it down. 20 goes into 100 5 times. Step 1 is finished. The fraction has turned into a decimal. Now for step 2, we need to turn this decimal into a percentage, which means I'm moving the decimal over 2 spaces to the right. My answer is 55%. Now, I realized I didn't finish my subtraction. 20 times 5 is 100, and it equals 0. Okay, so there's that completed division done. But here's the answer. So 11/20 becomes 55%. Let's look at 5/12. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. So 5 divided by 12. 12 can't go into 5, so we're going to add a decimal so we can put some zeros here. Bring our decimal up to the right spot. Okay, 12 can go into 50 4 times. 12 times 4 is 48. 50 minus 48 is 2. I'm going to add another 0 and bring that 0 down. 12 can go into 2 only one time. 12 times 1 is 12. Do my subtraction. We're left with an 8. Remember, when we're turning fractions into percentages, when we're doing this part, we stop right here at the hundreds place. We're not moving any further. Okay, there's our main number, numerator, denominator. So our answer is going to be 41 hundredths and 8/12. But you look at 8/12, you can reduce that, okay? And 8/12 can become 4 goes into 8 2 times, and then 4 goes into 12 3 times. So your answer is going to be, there you go, 41 2/3%. All right, I think I have enough time to work on one more before this video runs out of time. Like I said, I'm going to make another one to complete this, okay? Let's take a look at row 4. We're still on page 104, and this is 1/6. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. So 1 divided by 6. 6 can't go into 1, but 6 can go into 10, so we're going to put our decimal and add our 0. Then we can move our decimal up. Okay. 6 goes into 10 just one time. 6 times 1 is 6. Do my subtraction. All right. 10 minus 6 is 4. I can add another 0. Bring it down. 6 can go into 40 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. And that's going to leave us with 4 again. Remember, we're now in a hundreds place. We stop right here. And we're going to say that this is our main number, right? And then numerator, denominator. So our answer is 16 hundredths and 4/6%, but we can reduce that 4/6, can't we? 2 goes into 4 2 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So it's really 16 hundredths and 2/3%. Okay? So we had this, but you have to reduce, and that'll get you our answer. Let's try this last one before I start video number 2. And this is going to be 4/5. Step 1, turn into a decimal. So 4 divided by 5. And we can't do that. 4 can't go in, 5 can't go into 4, so we'll add a decimal in order to put some zeros. And we're going to raise our decimal up where it's supposed to be in the right spot. Okay? Now we can work with this. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. We're all done here, aren't we? So now we'll take our decimal, move it over, 1, 2. Okay, that should be a 0. Sorry, guys. So our answer is 80%. Step 1, turn the fraction into a decimal. Step 2, turn the decimal into a percentage. Same here. Step 1, turn the fraction to a decimal. And then step 2, turn the decimal to a percentage. And I see where I made a mistake here, and I'm very sorry, guys, for that. I never moved over the spaces. I never moved the decimals over. Some of you are looking at this saying, what in the world, Mr. Greer? There we go. Did I make the same mistake here? I sure did, both times. I am so sorry, everybody, for that one. It's not a percent until you move the decimal. So I'm hoping as you were watching, you were like, dude, you're totally messing up, and I'm messing up again here. Cannot believe I made that rookie mistake. I never moved my decimals over. It's terrible. Terrible. Bad, Mr. Greer. Smack my hands. Should be 41 2/3. There's the correct answers. So these were wrong. All right. All right, guys. That's the end of the first video. I will start the next one in a few seconds. But there we go. Again, apologize for that mistake. Hopefully it didn't confuse you all too much. If it did, just email me and let me know. All right? See you soon.